Hello Mouses! It's Tuesday, it's News on Tuesday, we've got a few things to cover so we'll get straight to it. Today we have an announcement that Group 4 Security, who was supposed to be doing all the security arrangements for the Olympics, but at the end of the time that they had, all of that time to get it sorted, they couldn't train all of the people that they needed to do the security job. So with weeks to go before the Olympics, they went to the government and said, oh, we can't deliver. We have this many people. We need this many, but we've got this many. We can't do what we said we'd do that you were going to pay us for. So now their profits have dropped by £50 million. See, justice is swift sometimes, especially when it comes to finances. Well, especially when it comes to finances and the people that have been doing injustice who aren't bankers, it's swift anyway. But this is a brilliant thing because we had to bring in the army to deal with security for a sports event. And as a result, Group 4 have had to pay for it. And it's cost them £50 million. So I'm happy because, let's face it, they had years to prepare and they didn't bother. They did brinkmanship and it didn't work. They tried to grab in people on workfare, or at least some security agency brought in people on workfare. And as a result, it got screwed up. So I am glad that they've lost out. And I don't want any money from the public purse to be going to propping up this stupid company which has screwed up pretty much every contract that I've ever heard of it getting, including transporting prisoners. So at the end of that, some idiots who can't do their jobs got screwed, and I am happy. Sticking with the Olympics for the moment, we've got a couple of modified train carriages on Eurostar which are designed to help transport competitors for the Paralympic Games coming from France and Belgium. And they've managed to do 2 carriages where you can fit in 8 or 9 wheelchairs into each carriage. Normally you can fit 2. So this is brilliant, but I was looking at it thinking, why aren't all carriages designed like this? Why can't we just have carriages where either the chairs fold up into the walls or into the partitions that you've got to have in order for wheelchairs to be able to not slide around, or perhaps just lift out the floor. Fold into the floor the way that chairs fold into the floor in some of those people carriers that we have these days. Why can't we have all carriages like that? Surely that's the way forward, so that we don't have to modify carriages so that we can carry a decent number of people who happen to be in a wheelchair. Surely all carriages should be able to carry a decent amount of people who happen to be in a wheelchair. Because, let's face it, one of the advantages of not being in a wheelchair is you can stand. So we don't need to take up as much room. Yeah, sure, it might be a bit more uncomfortable, but let's face it, the majority of us have to stand on train journeys for rush hour and sometimes for long distance journeys anyway. I had to go from London to Edinburgh one time, and I had to have standing room only for the entire way. That's most of the way along the length of the country. And I stood. So for a couple of hours between London and Paris, or wherever else you want to go in France, surely that's not too long to ask someone to stand, just so people who happen to have a disability manage to get on the same train. We should have the ability to fold down these chairs so people can get on, and then we can use up the rest of the room for able-bodied people. Surely that's a good idea. Anyway, that's my point of view on that. I think it's very good that they've managed to modify some carriages to carry a decent amount of people, but the fact is we shouldn't have had to modify anything. It should have been ready built like that, with people with disabilities in mind. Okay, moving on to science news, we've got some more images from the Mars Curiosity rover, and they look fantastic. There's a picture of Mount Sharp, and apparently it will take a year for the rover to get to Mount Sharp, but you can see it in this picture, and I'll put links to the pictures down below. And I thought, that seems like an awfully long time, but at the same time, that's probably making the Mars rover move at about the same rate as the average commuter train. And I want to move on to the last story of the day, which is about a dog that's got prosthetic legs because some Mexican cartel decided to cut off its paws. Now, I know there's a lot of trouble with drug barons and cartels in South America and Middle America, and yes, I know they're troublesome, but to cut off a dog's paws just because you're a bunch of dickheads, come on guys, that's the lowest of the low. Surely even drug dealers have standards, but apparently not. But at least some normal, decent people have standards, and they've managed to get this dog some prosthetic legs, so well done there. And it looks like the dog's reasonably happy now. I'm sure it'll be even more happy when it gets used to walking on what is effectively a pair of stilts. But anyway, the dog seems to be getting better, so that's alright, and I hope the people that did this to the dog die horribly. I'm not joking there either. Okay, on that note, I'm going to say that's all we've got time for today. I'd love to hear your views on any of these stories, especially about modifying trains and how they should be designed from the start to take disabled passengers. Until tomorrow, I've been Zoe Kirk-Robinson. You've been watching a video. Remember to click the like button, share this with your friends so they know what's going on in the world too, and subscribe for future videos. Until next time, I'll see you tomorrow.